price. What if, and I ask myself this terrible question, what if, as a parent, if I had only given him some silver sole on a daily basis or used it in his ears, would he have not had the problems he's going to have to deal with the rest of his life? It's a tough what if, but it's actually true, and you've got to realize that many of us could do a lot of good to help ear infections alone with silver sole, because 70% of children have had antibiotics for an ear infection by age 3, and over 90% of children have had antibiotics for an ear infection by age 5. I know this works because I went swimming and I got that swimmer's ear where water got trapped behind my eardrum. It became an infection. That infection put pressure and I got a headache. It gave me a sore throat, and I knew that I had an ear infection. I took 4 drops in one ear. Now, by the way, I pointed my ear to the roof and had my wife drop the drops of this silver sole in my ear. I let it stay there for 10 minutes. And the reason I left my ear pointed to the roof for 10 minutes is because I could hear and feel the silver trickling down into the ear cavity behind the eardrum. I could hear cracking and popping and bubbles popping and all kinds of fun stuff. I could feel it passing into my ear canal. And I know, because I have seen the Petri dish data, that the silver sole, when it comes in contact with the bacteria that causes an ear infection, will kill it in 6 minutes. So I decided I'm going to lay here with my ear pointing to the roof for 10 minutes. The result was next morning I did not have an ear infection. No more inflammation, no more pain, no more swelling, a little extra drainage from that ear and from the other ear, but it's this simple. Point your ear to the roof, put 4 drops in it, let it sit in that position for 10 minutes so that the liquid can be in contact with the bacteria for at least 6 minutes, and the killing can be done just as we've seen in the lab, just as we've seen in the scientific reports. This is important because we know that antibiotics are failing because the bacteria have mutated and become resistant. According to Current Science Medical Journal, October 2006, this silver has helped reverse antibiotic resistance and made all categories of antibiotics more functional. Quote from the scientific journal, "It is clear that the combination will allow a more complete clearing of the pathological organism," unquote. What this means is that you can use the silver as a first line of defense, and if you need more help, you can use it together with antibiotics and be sure to kill what the antibiotics left behind. This is important because one antibiotic, even if it's broad spectrum, doesn't kill all forms of bacteria. So no matter what the antibiotic you're taking, it's going to leave some bacteria untouched, and that's why silver can be taken in this form of silver will help reduce or destroy the bacteria that your antibiotic left behind. This brings me to the point of common sense medicine. It makes sense to use silver every day, 1 teaspoon, because it is broad spectrum and kills bacteria, viruses, and yeast. It makes sense that if you're getting sick or knowingly going to be exposed to an illness like at work or in a nursery, you should take that preventive amount twice a day. It makes sense that if you are seriously ill, you can take it 3 or even 4 times a day until you find a remedy. It makes sense that if 70% of all contagious diseases are obtained by hand contact, that you could put it on your hands and have protection for the next 4 hours. It makes sense that you could use it for prevention of STDs, which, by the way, are bacterial. And it makes sense that you can use it on every orifice of the body, including putting it on your skin for a benefit that should be related to what we find in the lab, which is bacterial killing within 6 to 10 minutes. Now, there are many ways silver kills pathogens. I'm going to mention the most important 3. Number 1, it kills as a silver oxide. Number 2, it has a magnetic resonance that prevents viruses from replicating. And number 3, resonance, or a frequency that destroys pathogens. Let me talk to you a little bit about each one. Silver oxide kills on contact, meaning contact with the bacteria. By pulling off one electron, the bacteria cell membrane is ruptured and the bacteria cell results in death, and death of the bacteria is the result. Your immune system cleans it up and takes it away. That's important because the center particle of this silver is pure elemental silver, while the outside is a silver oxide coating that kills on contact. The second way is magnetic resonance. The magnetic charge of the silver acts on viral DNA. You see, viral DNA consists of incomplete segments of DNA, and this leaves them with an abnormal charge. The silver nanoparticle is magnetically attracted and bonds to and overpowers the viral DNA and causes it to bind into a very tight ball of genetic material. This makes the DNA unable to stretch out, so it cannot replicate, and it never will divide or multiply, rendering the virus inactive. And the third way is resonance. The new silver has been measured by Penn State Dr. Rustum Roy to resonate or vibrate at a frequency between 890 to 910 terahertz. Now, what this means is it just happens to be the same frequency that is used in labs to kill bacteria and viruses. In fact, if you go to the lab that works with bacteria or viruses, you'll find strategically placed blue lights that resonate at 890 to 910 terahertz. This is the frequency that is antimicrobial. The new silver is like a bunch of supercharged flashlights safely disinfecting your arteries and veins. And where they can kill on contact, they have the amazing ability to kill by resonating at the exact frequency that has been proven to destroy bacteria and virus cells. This is epitaxy, and the same principle is seen in the nerves when they secrete neurotransmitting chemicals into the synaptic gap. The benefits are transferred without having to have contact through a chemical bond. Now, there are healthy resonances and unhealthy resonances. The healthy frequency would be like a massager. It stimulates circulation, it feels good, and vibrates at an intensity that makes nerves calm and actually can reduce pain. Then there is a jackhammer, and they are just big and powerful and can destroy disease, or in this case, cement, by their vibration. But they may also hurt the good things that are in the cement or around the cement, or hold up the cement, or, in medical terms, they may hurt not only the bad cells, but the good ones and good tissues surrounding it. Then there is a tiny, very high-frequency sound wave that can shatter glass. You've probably seen that commercial where they send tiny, high-frequency sound waves at a glass and it shatters. Then there is the kind of frequencies that distinguish between healthy and unhealthy. Yes, I said distinguish between healthy and unhealthy, like the saw doctors use to cut casts off. They vibrate at a frequency or resonance that cuts the plaster cast off but doesn't cut through your skin. My son asked, how can it cut through something so much harder than me and not cut my skin? And my answer to him is the same one for silver. There are some frequencies or resonances that have been tuned to destroy one type of tissue and not another. So, these are some of the reasons the new silver is more effective. They are: it is more stable and can stay in suspension for up to 8 years, even if it is frozen or boiled, and it will disinfect water in 4 minutes. The particle size is the perfect size for entering cells, and by the way, it is absorbed into the cells so it can get into all the tiniest areas of your body. It is called a nanoparticle, but it resonates at the perfect frequency to kill pathogens. Some are too large to be bioavailable to cells, and some common silvers are too small and have little or no impact on cell membranes, while this silver